What's the dumbest injury you've sustained from a seemingly harmless act or scenario? I dislocated my thumb once, because I didn't realize I was sitting on it and pulled my hand up too hard. Slammed my leg into the bar on the bottom of a shopping cart when I had to stop quickly. Had a decent sized bump for like a week that hurt really bad to even touch lightly. I have a relatively massive scar on my right hand from trying to open a spaghettios can while shit-faced. Punched myself in the testicles while fluffing pillows. Poked someone in the back and dislocated my wrist. BF cut his hand running it over a smooth metal surface. Pinched 3 nerves in my neck by looking to the left, trying to get dressed one morning. Cut my hand open on the lid of a ravioli can while trying to open it. Had to get 7 stitches. I was jogging with my dog and zoned out and then tripped over my dog and broke my hand. A buddy of mine tore his tricep during sex, like, not even crazy weird positions, just on top, flexed his arm funny, tore a tricep, had to have his wife drive him to the ER to have it looked at. Permanent damage, might not ever get back to 100% functions, from standard, dude on top going at it. Weirdest thing. Hugged my dad, dislocated my shoulder. Also, sleeping with my GF, dislocated my shoulder. Also, sneezed, dislocated my shoulder. You see where I'm going with this, right? Edit. Well, RIP inbox. Stepped off a curb while walking and tore 2 ligaments in my ankle. Sneezed and caused a cervical disc to push on a nerve root going down into my arm and a fracture in one of my vertebrae leading to neck surgery. The disc may or may not have already been herniated before the sneeze, but there was no pain until after it. Got an IUD. It punctured my uterus, migrated through and was found in my abdomen. Required surgery to remove. Had my rib broken receiving a hug. When I was a kid, I was standing on a chair to change a light bulb. I stepped down from it weird and fractured my foot. My parents thought I was faking the pain for several days because it was unbelievable I could have actually got hurt doing that. Tore my meniscus while warming up for flag football. Freaking jumping jacks. Oh man. I ruptured a disc in my back when I sneezed while changing the litter box. Easily the worst pain I've ever been in my entire life. Worse than a kidney stone. I was basically paralyzed from the waist down with no medical or painkillers for a week before breaking down and going to the emergency room. Playing ping pong, I slipped and fell and fucked up my knee. Haven't played since. Cut my thumb open with a plastic knife. My ex-wife was trying to cut a bagel in half. So she jabbed the bagel with a large kitchen knife while it was in her hand. The knife went right through the bagel and the palm of her hand. The point of the knife was sticking out the back of her hand. I mocked my buddies for stretching before a kickball game and partially tore my quad on my first at bat. I tripped in a puddle of my dog's piss and shattered every bone in my hand and wrist. Edit. My most liked comment is about the decimation of my bones after being thrown off balance and falling on my flanges due to a pool of my dog's bodily fluid. Edit 2. I will do a second poem of my unfortunate fall since I assume you all would like to hear it. On the floor, I lay in waste for round the house. I ran with haste, reckless by foot, slipped in piss, now here I lay with a broken wrist. Broke my foot in 2 places tripping over an ottoman. Shattered my tailbone in a human-sized hamster ball years ago. Still gives me discomfort to this day. I had just finished pooping. I reached across my body to grab TP. Boom. Back is out. I had to get my girlfriend at the time to save me, including wiping my ass. I was bedridden for days. I have a cyst and tendonitis in my left knee from running full speed into a picnic table trying to catch a frisbee in college. Broke the tip of a finger and had to get 2 stitches to hold my nail from falling off. How? Hand slipped while shutting my trunk and ended up shutting my finger in it. Shut it. I had to have someone come pop my truck for me. Stabbed myself with a fixed blade hunting knife trying to make a pair of jorts while I was wearing the jeans. Over 5 hours in the ER trying to stop the bleeding with multiple sets of stitches and staples. Edit. Yes, I was intoxicated. I'll start off. The day before I was scheduled to take my SATs, I jumped into my bed belly first and landed on my thumb. It bent backwards and I was in serious pain for a few days. I was unable to complete the writing section of the SATs because of it. I remember a baseball player getting seriously injured after a celebration when he hit a home run to win them the game. I cut my tongue on chocolate. crunching out of the hospital after having my cast removed, because I tore the ligaments in my ankle. Someone walked into me, I fell and could go back in, torn the ligaments in my other ankle. Just today I dove after a stranger's dog's leash to keep her from running into the street. Did I get her? Yes. Did I land on a knee I've fucked up before? Yes. Is said knee now swollen and bruised? Yep. Am I gonna get that looked at? Number. Would I do it again? Fucking absolutely. This happened on Saturday. I played golf in the morning, and had a few pints afterwards. I was feeling domestic when I got home, and mopping the floors needed to be done. I slipped, fell, and braced my impact with my elbow. Busted it open, and I'm pretty sure I didn't break anything, but it felt like it on Sunday. Wife came home 10 minutes later, while I was tending to my wound. What happened? I was cleaning. Well, you did a shit job. There's blood and broken glass on the floor. Don't do chores half drunk kids. A lady I know's son broke his arm playing golf. IDK how? Pretty sure I broke a bone in my foot by dropping a mattress on it. I was drunk and mad at my husband for not moving it earlier. I showed him. Burned the shit out of my arm pulling fries out of the fryer at work. A guy I knew slammed his balls in a drawer when closing it after getting socks out. Needed surgery. Hard not to laugh. Awakened by the sound of my kid vomiting in the middle of the night, I sprinted to help, and broke my toe on the edge of the bed. Broke my ring finger while stepping from a boat onto the dock. I have done this a lot as I am a commercial fisherman. I fell while going down the ladder of my lofted bed in college. Two of them, playing volleyball in pay when I was 16, was serving and it hit a nerve in my hand just right. That is caused a blood clot the size of a golf ball under my right armpit. Work injury. Was standing in to stretch from my cubicle. Was leaning over to see how person was doing on my right, and my right kneecap pops out of place. Wanted to be cool while riding my bike as a kid. Sawed my big toenail off against the sidewalk in the process. Had to walk a mile or two to the ear because our car was fucked up. MR keep this short and simple. I'll elaborate if requested. I broke my leg skipping down the sidewalk. Chipped my ankle jumping on a trampoline. Sprained my ankle on a trampoline. And sprained it again falling down 2 steps. Broke my ankle arguing over a Judge Judy verdict. Just after a rainstorm the area had a cold front. Being from tropical climate, I didn't know that puddles could freeze over and stay frozen for a long time, as well as be perfectly see-through. So I am working all by myself in a containment area that wasn't graded perfectly for water runoff, and there's a spot where water collects and can freeze. In the spot was a pine cone. Well, like any immature person, I like to kick pine cones on the ground. The problem was it too was frozen. Back in high school I played goalie for the city soccer team, and have this extravagant wind up to kick. I saw the pine cone, except I saw the soccer ball, and I did my thing. Except my thing wasn't my thing. It was Charlie Brown's thing. I took a massive swing and my other leg slipped out on the ice and I went airborne and upside down. I woke up a few seconds, minutes, later incredibly concussed. No one knew a thing because of the containment walls that I was out cold behind. I was also laying on ice, wearing non-thermal gear. When I woke up, I was cold. What I didn't realize was my wrist was fractured, because I essentially put it on ice immediately when I landed. The other problem was I was kicking ass at work and sweating. This caused me to freeze to the ground and iced puddle. I'm concussed with a wrist issue and frozen to the ground with no one around because I had to rehash the glory days. Tried to do a front flip off a diving board but I jumped too far and busted my chin open when I hit the edge of the pool. Burping my newborn son who used to hold his head up. He burped and dropped his head breaking my nose, and then I spent half an hour trying to convince the doctor that I was not in a violent relationship, it really was my newborn. I was sitting in the back seat of a car with my friend and decided to tickle her because I knew she hated it. We were dicks to each other mayo. Anyway, she somehow managed to jerk and kick me in the side of the head, right along where your jaw meets your ear. It gave me nerve damage related shingles that spread inside my ear and down my jaw to my chin. I was in horrible pain and could barely hear out of that ear for weeks. The shingles left a few small scars on my jawline as well. Stood out of bed and shredded my meniscus. My knee was locked up until surgery.